would like to call to order the Tuesday, February 18th, 2025 Brooklyn City Board of Education regular meeting. Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale.
Here.
Mr. Hubbell.
Here.
Ms. Rafter.
Here.
Mr. Hasrouni.
Here.
And Ms. Krall.
Here. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In order for the board to fulfill its obligations to complete the planned agenda in an effective and efficient fashion, a maximum of 30 minutes of public participation as it pertains to school-related topics will be permitted at each meeting. Each person wishing to address the board will approach the podium and state his or her name and address. If several people wish to speak, each person will be allotted 3 minutes until the total time of 30 minutes is used. During that period, no person may speak twice until all who desire to speak have had the opportunity to do so. The period of public participation may be extended by a vote of the majority of the board.
Justin Finch, I'm 4744 Autumn Lane. How is everyone? Sorry I'm under the weather. My voice, bad sinuses. Last time we spoke, the last meeting, said like with open enrollment, it wasn't, about money based, and like everything that I have read about school, it is money based. And as a taxpayer, when I pay, like I don't expect my plows when they hit a Cleveland Street, I want the plow up. When they collect garbage, it ends in Brooklyn because that's where my funds go. I don't want cops patrolling Cleveland streets. I want them on Brooklyn streets. That's how I view it, and that's what PRISM I view it. So as the dollar amount, like we went over 1,900, I know it's not a financial thing, and we don't know even today if the Department of Education is disbanded. I know there's a huge argument about the Title I funding. So, I mean, as I understand, the Title I funding can go under a different applicable thing, like block grants is something I'm hearing the money can be put under, but we still don't even know that Title I money, and it is a Title I school, that's going to be there. So every time I come, it just happens to be on the day that one of these, or the meeting, more news comes out that leaves more question marks based on money. And when I hear it's not about money, every possible thing with the schools has a dollar amount. And so money is concerning to me. And so with that said, an open enrollment's done. As we approach March 1st, I'm, going to be a supporter of the community, a supporter of schools. But I would like a committee to see. I understand the 1 through 4, under the grandparents, the alumni, the previous markers, the 1 through 4. Where we get to 5, the first come, first serve is where my concern is. So the overview, I still would like an overview to see. I'm very interested in the data of this. I want to see what students fall under what moniker of 1 through 5, and how those, even the first come, first serve, if you have a later grandparent or a alumni come in, do they get precedence, or are we back to the first come, first serve? So I just want as many eyes on that. And then, like I said, I know there's a privacy issue with students. I don't need to see their name, but I want to see where they're coming from, and kind of like a reason why where they're coming from, and why they're coming. Also, I know we haven't put stipulations, some districts do, on GPA. You guys done a great job of getting our grade up, and I'm happy with that. I feel like, in a way, we can sabotage ourselves and bring us back down. A 10% increase in students is a lot. I mean, you own a business, 10% increase in your business is a lot. So a 10% increase of anything is a lot. So every teacher will tell you, 2-3 kids can just sink your classroom. So my concern is there's no way. I know bad kids are everywhere. There's always going to be, the apples in that bunch. But I want to know what we can do and listen, it takes heat off you too, Dr. Clares. You being the only arbiter of, hey, in, rubber stamp. If it's a collective thing, I think it gives you an out too, like, hey, that was agreed upon amongst a group of 5-6 people to admit this kid. And I know we're not the police, we're not FBI, we're not doing extensive background checks and checking out, who they are, what they did, or anything like that. But I think there can be just for people's, that you're putting in the seats, people know that there was an effort to say, hey, we did the best we can to put kids in the seats that are going to be conducive to your children and your money.
We're at 3 minutes. Does anybody else want to speak? 10 minutes.
Okay, I mean, that's, I just, as long as, I just don't want the community perception to go down quick, because if this goes off, I know it's a trial run off 1 year. I talk to a lot of families. I don't talk bad, like, I want input. I want, like, some of your staple core families of Brooklyn. If this goes south, you're gonna lose out on those families. I already know. And once that happens, it's like once you have a high-end restaurant, not that we're a high-end restaurant, but I want that. But I don't want to be where we're, all-you-can-eat buffet. I'd rather keep it high quality and aim for that. So once this goes bad, even in a year, you're going to lose the core families that make this a great community. That's all. Thank you.
Real quick comment. Justin, thank you. Thank you for coming. And what I want to say is I would love to, I can't answer your questions now, but I know you and I have been trying to connect for a couple of months now. And again, and I know you're busy with your work schedule, but I think a private individual conversation, I'll be able to answer a lot of your questions to process procedure and not necessarily to kind of alleviate some of your fears, but at least to answer your questions. From a data standpoint, I'm going to be providing that information to the board at our May work session.
Okay.
So the application windows from March 3rd, March 1st through April 15th with the potential extension. I will have all of that. Will be a board presentation at work session on our May work session, so that I'll have that. So what I would also do is I'd encourage you to come to that meeting so you can see the data for yourself. But I want to connect with you before that time, because and I love that you come here. I really do. You're a great family. You're a great person. I love your kid. I want to what concerns me is you have these questions, and I want to be able to answer them for you. And I think if we sit down together and have the conversation, you can ask me anything you want. Okay. And I will, and again, I still want you to come here but my job as superintendent is to communicate with one of my families. I think we need to do that before our next board meeting in March, because I want you to hear some of these things and see some of the things and understand the rules and the laws that I'm bound under and the Board of Education is bound under. And again, I believe this will be successful, right? But I think going back, the board always has the option to reverse their policy after 1 year, and we'll do that. The board will do that if needed, but it's my job to provide them data. But I want to sit down with you, because it's actually 2 months to today since you sent your first email. Since our December board meeting, I think we need to sit down. So let's try to connect at some point. I will work around your schedule, whatever it may be, to sit down with you, okay? And I'll dedicate as much time as I can to you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Yes, welcome and good evening. Happy cold day. I know everybody was excited to get that call yesterday. Just a little background for families. One of the reasons we call this a cold day for today is because of the negative wind chill. And so in my determination of kind of cold days, I always look at really the conditions of our kids walking and our kids traveling on their own. So this morning's wind chill was somewhere between -5 and -12, which is very cold. I will say we will be in session tomorrow, even though the temperature will still be cold. The wind chill is forecasted to be not as cold, even though 3 is still really cold, but there's got to be some limit. So I just want to kind of give the context, and I know that's always a topic of conversation, but wanted to give you that information. Another thing, I do want to kind of plug the night of the races for this Saturday. Our Booster Club does an amazing job with that event, and it's always a success and the talk of the community in February. So again, I hope everybody's able to attend, and if there's tickets available, see if there's anything available. Last piece I really want to mention, and this really kind of goes to budget conversation And really, I would encourage, if you have any questions during this time, to please ask myself or Rob. So the governor released his version of the biennium budget, in which he has supported the phase-in, the third phase of the Fair School Funding Plan, and keeping cost calculations at the 2022 level. As a school district, we would love those cost inputs to be the 2024, 2025 level. However, the 2022 levels are still in the simulations released by the governor is still very favorable for the district. What I want to say too is I'm in the process of contacting our state legislators. Representative Chris Glassburn out of North Olmsted represents us in the House, and then Senator Tom Patton represents our district in the Senate. I would say that we need to advocate for the continuation of the Fair School Funding Plan. Fair School Funding Plan was a bipartisan effort 4+ years ago, in which the state legislature addressed how we fund public schools. I go back to 90% of the students in the state of Ohio attend public schools. The legislature, and I will say this again, has chosen to fund the private school religious voucher program. And I guess, from a standpoint of I can't control that piece, I would advocate that we continue to fund the public schools at appropriate levels. So in front of you, you have 2 letters. It's the same letter, just kind of different addresses. One to House Rep Glassburn, and one to Senator Patton, in which I've invited him out to, both of them out to our event on April 12th, which I'll talk about probably next time. But I'd love to give them a tour. I'd love them to see what we're doing in Brooklyn, and to one of our parents' point, I believe we are on track to be a destination district with everything we got going on, the progress we're making. I would say to our board, it would be great if you could also send a letter. I tried sending an email, but they've taken their email address off of the state website. You can only send a kind of a contact me piece. But I think the more people here, the more people that reach out to our legislatures to positively advocate for the things we do in Brooklyn and the things we do in public schools in general, the better. I'm a little concerned with some of the things I'm hearing that coming out of the House and the Senate in terms of what their budget proposal will be. And their recently House Bill 93 or Senate Bill 93 was proposed by Senator Andy Brennan, which basically looks to dismantle funding of public schools. Now, I don't know where that will be. I think I copied all of you on that House Bill proposal. And we know that when things begin to get into negotiation, things are somewhere in the middle. I think any fundamental change to the funding of public schools in general is, in my opinion, a clear attack by our legislature to dismantle public education. And so my part is to positively advocate for our district, positively advocate for our students and our families, and that is the reason that I am reaching out to them and inviting them to our district to come see our kids, our families, what goes on here on a daily basis. And if that happens and I do get a confirmation from them, I would like 1 or 2 board members to be at that conversation so that they can hear from you as elected officials about why you serve, why you're on our board, and what you believe our community and our kids do. So I just kind of, and again, we'll have more information on the House version of the budget, hopefully sometime end of March, early April. I don't know, but I know that as soon as Rob and I hear that you will absolutely hear. But going back, the governor's version of his budget is very favorable for our district, and I hope that is the end result of the budget bill that will coming out in July. Okay. Any questions, comments? Okay. That being said, everybody stay warm, get a good night's sleep. I will see everybody bright and early tomorrow morning for school. That's my report.
Thank you. I will move on to the treasurer's report.
I just want to start off by saying, good evening. I am also going to be sending out the letters as well. OHSAA, which is the treasurer's CFO group, has recommended that the treasurers contact state officials as well, just so they know that how their decisions can affect us financially. So I will be sending that out as well. Let me start with my report. At this point, we are about 58% through the year. We have collected about 54% of our revenue for the year. The advance that we received in January, and I'm not sure if I talked about this in the January meeting, was at 60% rather than 90%. So it did affect all the districts in the county. It was roughly 30% less of an advance that we expected. I did receive on Friday the advance for February, the second advance. That was paid at 90%. So that's good that we are getting that money up front again. The final settlement will be March 15th, and that will be the final settlement for the tax money for this half. Let's see. So at this point, for the levy income for the year, we've gotten, like I said, about 48% of that. State money, we've gotten about 53% of what was expected. Our investments for January, we received $69,429 in revenue. That brings our total up for the year of $783,056. That's about 76% of the budget for the year for that. Let's see. For the expenses, we are on target for where we should be for this time of year. We are at roughly about 79% our personnel and benefits, and 21% of the spend has been for operational purposes. Let's see. We did have a bit of a worrisome thing come out when they put a freeze on the federal funds. That includes all of our, like, Title I, 6B, 2, 3, 4, all of those title funds, or I'm sorry, all those federal funds. By freezing that, we run approximately about $500,000 through federal grants. By freezing that, there was a possibility that we would not have received any of those funds for the rest of the year. A couple days later, they did change it. They opened it back up. So I was able to request about $100,000 for our January payments for reimbursement. Again, the federal programs are reimbursement grants, so we have to spend that money first before we receive it from the state. So that was opened back up, so I should be getting about, within the next couple days, that $100,000. What else? We are, at this point, we are expecting to finish the year at roughly about $476,000 ahead. So it's not a profit because we're government, but we are looking to be in the black at this point, about $476,000 for the end of the year. And that's my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I wrote over, I was like, wait, I was like, why are we gonna, I know, oh my goodness. Okay, we'll move on to comments from board members and board committee reports, and start with Ms. Rafter.
Good evening, everybody. I first want to say thank you to Cindy and to Justin for coming to our meeting today. It's important that our community be involved and be here to hear what we say, I guess. I want to congratulate two groups of people. One, our students for their athletic performance for winter sports. I understand we have a couple of our students bowlers. They're advancing.
Yeah, we have the possibility of sending a couple student athletes to state bowling. And then for the first time ever, we have a possibility of sending a varsity girls wrestling to state. So pretty exciting for our girls. Yeah, pretty
So that's
exciting.
good.
Yeah.
And everybody else is just kind of finishing up their seasons. Winter's always a long season, and I know sometimes it's hard to stick with it, so I just want to thank the coaches for keeping our student athletes involved. Also, congrats to our academic award winners for second quarter, for merit and honor roll. This year, I asked that I continue to stay with the Teaching and Learning Committee. I'm on it with Mr. Hasrouni, and each and every time I go to a committee meeting, I'm learning more and more. And I just want to say, I really do appreciate all the teachers, the administration, hard work, what they're doing for our students. I know when we met with Ms. DeLees, we talked in depth about our ELA curriculum, adopting that. And there's so many new things out there, and I'm excited to see it be implemented, next year. The other thing is I asked to be a part of the facilities committee. I had been on the rec committee for many years prior to coming onto the board, and I wanted to kind of see what other committees are like. We met today, Mr. Hasrouni and Dr. Claris, and it's, as a community member, when you see the numbers of potential things that we're able to spend our monies on for the betterment of our school district and our students and our facilities, it's amazing. So again, thank you again to our community for supporting our bond issue, because a lot of the monies that are being spent on our facilities have come, are going to come from that. And I just want to say thank you to that. And the other thing is that, when I decided to become a board member, it was real important for our schools and our cities to work together. So I just kind of want to give a reminder that on 4/16 at 10 a.m. at the city center, there's going to be the state of the schools and the state of the city presentation.
Yeah.
And I know when I went to it last year, it was good to hear what the city was doing. I pretty much knew what the school was going to do, but I think it's good for all residents if they're able to come. So I'm giving the time and the date now so people can plan accordingly. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hasrouni.
Thank you, Mr. President. So wanted to piggyback a little bit off of what Allison had said. So the facilities committee met. The main gym's going to begin construction on May 19th with a nice remodel. It's going to be really exciting to see all the bleachers and all the cool things that they have planned for that. I stopped, and I think everybody stopped at the new early child center. I can't believe how fast they're getting this thing done. I mean, the walls are coming up, and it's really cool to see. It's going to be exciting to have all the new activities there with the preschool, Metro Health coming in, and then our board meetings are going to be there. So just really excited for this new facility. And then the field turf renovation will begin in May. And thank you again to the Cleveland Browns for $250,000 to help us get that going. So that's awesome. The Teaching and Learning Committee, Ms. DeLees gave us a great presentation at our meeting, and it was really cool that they were able to get the input of the teachers and get all together in a vertical way, is the best way to describe it. And all the teachers got together for this huge overhaul of the curriculum to make it more efficient, and so that everyone was all on the same page. It was just really exciting to see that, and again, moving the district towards it being better in that destination school district. We're excited to announce the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce and the Brooklyn Athletics Department are combining efforts to have their first annual golf outing on June 12th. So please save that date, and if you want to join, Dr. Calaris will be sending out more details on that. So just really excited about that. And also the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce and the Brooklyn Cares Foundation, we're looking for volunteers to join our events committee to help out with the fundraising events for Brooklyn Cares and other activities. So if you're interested, please reach out to Susie Marquis or myself for that. And then last is the Wizard of Oz play, which is going to be on March 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Pretty excited about that because Beauty and the Beast was awesome last year, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with Wizard of Oz. So March 20th through the 22nd. So if you can come show your support for the kids in that, I know they work hard. So stay warm, and that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hubbell.
Thank you. Since our last meeting, I have not had any committee meetings. We have a technology one set up for a few weeks from now. The rec board has a meeting tonight, but it happens to be at the same time because of the holiday yesterday, so I'll start jumping into those next month. Just a reminder, Saturday, night at the races, always a great event, a great way to make money for all sorts of athletics, post-prom, with baskets and horse races and all that stuff. So, look forward to seeing you guys there. On April 12th, from 10 to 1, the Brooklyn Alumni Association is going to be hosting a Hurricane Community Open House. So anybody that's, an alumni of Brooklyn, please come take a tour with Dr. Calaris. Kind of see your old stomping grounds before we really start renovating this place and making changes. There will also be a spring craft fair in the high school cafeteria at the same time. And right at the end of the open house, we will be having an extravaganza for the little ones.
That will not conflict with the city Easter egg hunt that morning.
That is correct.
That's right.
That'll be at the stadium, correct?
No, we're gonna be all here.
We're gonna be here. Okay.
Because
great.
if there's weather, we're just gonna bring it into the field house.
Oh, beautiful.
That's
So
right. Not my
meet
idea.
here.
Not my
Yep.
idea.
Meet here for the extravaganza. Nice job, Mr. Lees. At 1:00, bring your kids and hunt down some eggs and get some candy.
And books.
And books.
And books.
And books. Always books.
That's right. And books.
Yes, congratulations again to all the honor and merit roll students from the second quarter, our winter athletes. Great job. Continue to keep crushing it. Let's get a couple state qualifiers.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you. Mr. Neale.
All righty. I think our technology meeting is March 18th. So that'll be our next meeting. I'm on there with Jason. Short report, just some Polaris insights. I've handed off a folder to Allison to look through what we go through every month. We're going to talk about some things, the consent agenda later, so we'll have that consent agenda conversation later. But Polaris, and I think Polaris is probably one of the better things, or one of the many things that we need to speak about with our representatives, state representatives.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I believe, actually, Mr. Glassbird's been out there just recently.
Excellent. Good.
So,
Good.
I don't know about Mr. Pat, but I believe he has. So anyway, a few things. Just Polaris had a Skills USA regional competition, and we had Jaden Schultz for CNC technician finish first place for Brooklyn High School.
Nice.
Then William Darden, first place, Brooklyn High School CNC programmer. All right. Then we had a student of the month, senior student of the month. I hope I get this name right. Ramia Fleming Bakery and Pastry, Brooklyn High School, nominated from Mrs. Hogler. She was senior student of the month. I'm sure I had some of her pastry somewhere along the way. And then we had a middle schooler, Abigail Jerish. She won an award for medical detective. So there's a lot of good things that go on over there. And then the last thing is Career Enrollment Services Department wins a prestigious national award. So their enrollment services and all their services, the administrative, won a national award, so.
And I think too, Mr. Neal, our robotics team will be over
The Palooza,
the Palooza, I think.
in March, it's in that folder, and I forgot to write down that. But it was, if you have the opportunity, and I'm fortunate, I work at home, but I watched it on YouTube or whatever channel they had. It was pretty interesting, it was pretty cool. So if you have the opportunity, I say,
Mr. Goodwin
take a
does
look
an
at it.
amazing job with our kids and
He
that.
finished first the first time, and I finished second the second time. So when I go in his classroom, I go, then I tell his classroom, I go, if you finish second, we might have to fire you. We don't take too kind of second place. So, no, it's, if you have the opportunity to have a chance to look at it, it's well worth looking into.
That's great.
And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. The only thing I have from, as the city council liaison is, they passed a youth engagement and succession committee. Councilman Mosley had sent me kind of a PDF of what it is, but he's also going to come to a future meeting and share it with the school board and the superintendent, because he wants to, engage the students. And just, congratulations to all the student athletes. That's all I have. So we'll move on to approval of minutes and financial statements. Mr. Neal.
Resolved that the minutes of the Brooklyn Board of Education be adopted and all action taken by the Board of Education at said meeting hereby reaffirmed and approved.
May I have a motion?
So
please?
moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the financial statements of receipts and expenditures for the month of January 2025, including all purchase orders paid and then and now. Statements for the month as submitted.
May I have a motion,
So
please?
moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby recommends the following students for their academic achievement as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Congratulations, good job.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the second reading and the adoption for the following board policies. I'm not going to read the numbers, but I'm going to read the categories. Technical corrections, review of policy, special education, assignment within district, release time for religious instruction for the school day, student health, well-being, suicide prevention, insufficient fund checks, vendor relations, criminal history record check for contracted school services, automated external defibrillators, AED, and cardiopulmonary resuscitation.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Ms. Krall, just quick clarification. So the rescind policy is, the state has completely changed that policy, so we're rescinding that board policy. The new one lines up to the new ODE, Ohio Department of Education Workforce Policy. You'll also see a board resolution that we need to approve, and that's a requirement from the state that the board needs to approve both the policy and supporting the policy adoption. So it's really cleanup language, really hasn't changed what we do from a day-to-day operation, but it's clarification needed at Neola and with the Department of Education.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorize superintendent to enter into an agreement with the colleges listed below to qualify students for College Credit Plus during the 25-26 school year per the attachments, Cuyahoga Community College, Lorraine Community College, and the University of Akron.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
I'd like to just, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, you're fine.
Mr. Ross held a open house the other day, and I attended for my 8th or 7th grader, and I mean, the program's amazing. I mean, it's the opportunity for parents to save thousands and thousands of dollars in the first couple of years of college for these kids. I got 4, so I'm gonna save as much money as possible, so.
Both of my children that I claim on my taxes, they walked.
The other ones you don't.
Right, no, right. They both walked into their freshman year between advanced placement courses and CCP courses with 29 credits. We have opportunities on site through different classes here. We have advanced placement. We have opportunities where kids can attend Tri-C or Lorraine Community College or Cleveland State or take online classes. I would tell every parent that can take advantage of that program to do so, right? I really would, because to Mr. Hasrouni's point, like, college is really expensive, and when you start multiplying that by 2, 3, 4, you know, that adds years to the retirement, before you retire, so, but we have great opportunities. Thank you for saying that, too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attachment with NEOnet for the installation of fiber optic lines from Brooklyn High School to the Brooklyn Early Childhood and Family Resource Center and the bus transportation garage.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
So this, just quick clarification, this is an $80,000 project. We're eligible through federal grants to pay for 80% of that. So the district cost for running a fiber internet line from our bus garage over to the new building starting next year is, our total cost is only $20,206.57 out of the total $84,000 project. So this was kind of planned with Dave, budgeted already, really no impact on our general fund outside of we've budgeted for this year. So it's hard to pass up. I don't want to say free money, but it's hard to pass up those grant funds when they're presented to us, so.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby adopts special education model policies and procedures, model policies that were released by the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, called ODEW, in December 2024, and directs all staff in the district to use and comply with the model policies. The board further authorized the superintendent to notify the DEW of the board's adoption of the model policy through DEW's monitoring system by uploading a copy of this board resolution on or before March 30th, 2025, and by November 30th for each subsequent year.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves overnight trip for all Brooklyn City School student athletes that qualify for OHSAA state tournament in bowling and/or wrestling.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
This will just prepare Mark to start getting hotels and mileage and register, those types of things for the student athletes as they approach those tournaments. So, thank you for doing this.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approve the adoption of the Brooklyn City School District English Language Arts Curricular Resources on file and Treasurer's Office as noted.
May I have a motion,
So
please?
moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
I just want to thank our staff, our teaching staff, Ms. DeLees and her team for going through this project. This really is a big deal in terms of adopting the resources, trying the resources out. I mean, she's been working and her team's been working through this, and our staff all year, and to get our staff to come to agreement 100% unanimously is a testament to both our teaching staff and their professionalism, and Ms. DeLees and her team and the work that they did. Just a quick reminder for anybody in the audience, those are the copy of the resources that are available, and we will have those resources available in the board office if any community member or parent wants to stop in and see them. So just, we have them here, but we will keep them on display for the rest of the school year in case moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, anybody wants to come up and take a look at what we're adopting. But again, I will say these are resources. This is not the curriculum. We use the state curriculum that's been adopted by the Ohio Department of Education. These resources are just a part of what our teachers do to implement the curriculum.
This is the presentation we had last week.
That is correct.
2 weeks
That is
ago.
correct, yes, that's correct.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Whereas the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education wishes to advertise and receive bids for the purchase of a passenger van for the 25-26 school year, therefore, be it resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education wishes to participate and authorize the Ohio School Council to advertise and receive bids on behalf of the said board as per specifications submitted for the cooperative purchase of a school passenger van and body. The solicitation of bids does not commit the Brooklyn City School District schools to purchase the passenger van through the Ohio School Council.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
This is just, gives us the opportunity to get the best pricing through Ohio School Council. So if we, and we're working through that budget out, but if Ms. Neale says we need this, we're gonna budget for it, this will give us the opportunity to get the best state price on that vehicle.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following adult chaperones volunteers for the Europe trip 2020, March 24th, 2025 through April 4th, 2025. Background checks are on file in the board office as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Just a quick reminder I know we discussed this last year, each of the adults that go on this trip pay $3,500 to go on the trip. So, again, obviously, it's not the full cost, but again, it's not not necessarily a comp, so just want to give the board that information. Okay.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves unpaid medical leave for the following classified employees as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby amends Resolution 25-1-048 to reflect the following. Brenda E. Campbell, Building Monitor, from 2.5 hours per day to 2.7 hours per day, 11:05 a.m. to 1:50 p.m., effective 1/14/2025.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the employment of the following substitute personnel for the 24-25 school year as noted. Heidi Schunk, on-call substitute cleaner, effective 2/3/2025.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following classified resignations as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So
May I
moved.
have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Just want to say thank you to both these employees. They did a phenomenal job for us for the time they were here with us, so I just want to thank them for their time.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the unpaid parental leave in the absence of the following employees as noted.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Quick amendment, that will not be unpaid. It will be paid for them. So I just want to, if we can omit unpaid and just say parental leave. That's an error on my part, I apologize.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following persons for the 24-25 school SY supplemental assignment with the provision that such individuals comply with all the rules, regulations, State Department of Education regulations pertinent to the proper certification, fulfills the requirements of the job description attached to their supplemental contracts contingent upon successful completion of the background check and credentialing. Rachel Gretch Scott.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following persons for the 24-25 school year supplemental coaching assignments with the provision of this individual comply with all Ohio High School Athletic Association rules, regulations, State Department Education regulations pertaining to their proper certification and/or first aid training and fulfillment of the requirements, the job description attached to their supplemental contracts. You know what, I'll read these. Megan Barrow, varsity head track coach, half. Logan Hennings, varsity head track coach, half. Dan Menigan, assistant varsity track coach, half. Travis Agnew, assistant varsity track coach, half. Jeff Shepard, middle school head track coach. Bob Hennings, high school middle school track volunteer. Thank you, Bob. Kevin Sedlacek, varsity head baseball coach. Tim Hanlon, assistant varsity baseball coach. Tim Batcha, junior varsity baseball coach. Alex Hernandez, junior varsity baseball coach. Sarah Young, varsity head football coach. Jose Vega, assistant varsity softball coach. Zach Toth, junior varsity softball coach. And Aisha Madera, junior varsity softball coach.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following person for the 24-25 school year supplemental coaching assignment with the provision that such individual comply with all Ohio High School Association rules and regulations and State Department of Education regulations pertaining to proper certification and/or first aid training, fulfills the requirements of the job description attached to their supplemental contract. Kyle Akins, assistant varsity track coach.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Isn't that your buddy?
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Absolutely.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Abstain.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education approves the administrative employment contract extension effective August 1st, 2025 through July 23rd, July 31st, 2028 for the following administrative employee contract on file in the office. Sandra Neale, Director of Operations.
Isn't that your buddy?
Yeah,
Can I have a motion?
Boss.
May I have
Yeah,
a
boss.
motion, please?
so moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
I'm going to abstain.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Absolutely.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the administrative employment contract extension effective August 1st, 2025 through July 31st, 2028 for the following administrative employee contract on file in Treasurer's Office. Matthew Tolar, Assistant Treasurer 1.
May I have a motion,
So
please?
moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Abstain.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
And Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the administrative employment contract extension effective August 1st, 2025 through July 31st, 2028 for the following administrative employee contract on file in Treasurer's Office. David Wallace, Director of Systems and Instructional Technology.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Kroll.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the attached exempt non-teaching employment contract effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028 for the following employee. Contract on file in the Treasurer's Office, Laura Baker, Executive Secretary to the Superintendent.
May I have a motion, please?
So
May I have a
moved.
second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale.
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni.
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell.
Yes.
Ms. Rafter.
Yes.
Ms. Kroll.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the change of employment title effective 8/1/2025 as listed below. Sherry Gadinsky from the Secretary of Support Service to the Secretary of the Director of Operations effective August 1st, 2025 through the remainder of the current employment contract.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale.
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni.
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell.
Yes.
Ms. Rafter.
Yes.
Ms. Kroll.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the employment of the following personnel 24-25 school year as noted contingent upon successful completion of background check and credentialing. Tina Siviani and Dawn Krall.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
We will still have one additional cleaner to hire hopefully this year. We're down 2 cleaners, so you'll see another one hopefully in the next month.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale.
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni.
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell.
Yes.
Ms. Rafter.
Yes.
Ms. Kroll.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby accepts a certified retirement for Denise Cinco effective December 31st, 2025.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
I'll wait.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale.
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni.
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell.
Yes.
Ms. Rafter.
Yes.
Ms. Kroll.
Yes.
The Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby commends Denise Cinco for her years of service to the students of Brooklyn. Can I have a motion, please? Pardon?
That's Kelly's sentence.
Or you could motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Old habits die hard, right?
Yeah, it's just,
That's her
you got me.
You just flowed
If we'd have-
right into it.
If we,
You're on a roll.
hey, you read those pages, what I talked about, consent agenda. Go ahead, Kelly.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
I know she taught both my boys, so.
All my kids.
So she taught me when I
Denise,
was in elementary
yeah.
school.
Known Denise a long time, and we're definitely gonna miss her, and so, yeah, nothing more I can say about Denise, but she's been a hurricane for a long time, and won't be the same without her.
Congrats. Hunter was devastated when I told him.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale.
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni.
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell.
Yes.
Ms. Rafter.
Yes.
Ms. Kroll.
Yes.
Am I done reading? No. I still got
One more.
Treasurer's recommendation. Resolved that the Brooklyn City Board of Education, in accordance with ORC 3313.26, gratefully accepts the following donations. Brooklyn City Schools Alumni Association, $20 for David Wilhelm. Thank you, David. Brooklyn City Schools Alumni Association, $250 for Ben Mahalik.
May I have a motion, please?
So
May I
moved.
have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
Thank
Thank
very much.
you.
Mr. Shearhart, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Neale.
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni.
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell.
Yes.
Ms. Rafter.
Yes.
Ms. Kroll.
Yes. So number 8.1 is the discussion about the implementation of the consent agenda that we started maybe 1 or 2 meetings ago. We talked about that the only change would be 1 vote instead of 35,000 votes. Dr. Claris would still go through each line item. We wouldn't have to, have the resolve. They would just go through each line item, and we could still ask questions or make comments. Certain items could be pulled out for certain board members, or we could request things to be pulled out. Like I said, the only change is that it would be 1 vote on the entire thing except for anything pulled out. And personally, I think it would be more efficient. I actually have, after our last conversation, asked different community members about it, and no one wants to sit here and listen to us, talk for 2 or 3 hours, so I think it's, as long as we're going through point by point and being transparent, the one vote compared to, I said, multiple votes is not a big deal to them. So the floor is open.
And everything is, when we do it, Polaris is posted on the big screen in front of us by items, so everybody else can follow along as well, too.
What I can do too is I can so the Wednesday before the board meeting, right? So the board meeting agenda goes live on that Friday typically. I can email the board on the Wednesday kind of a draft agenda, just as part of procedure, and then I'll just say, please review. And then if you want me to pull anything out individually, you guys can just request at that time, and I'll do that at that meeting so we can get to that. And then obviously, if there's any changes at the board meeting, the board we can always go through and amend the agenda right there. The only thing I would need from the board, if the board wants to move forward with this, I want to talk to Emily, make sure we gotta approve the policy. So if I can approve the policy with one reading, we'll have that on if the board wants to move forward, we'll have that on the March 4th agenda for one reading, and then starting in March 18th, we'll have the first implementation, but I'll let the board weigh in.
So if we get it on Wednesday, we discuss it and say, hey, pull this out on Friday, the agenda goes live, but even after that, while we're meeting, we could say, hey, you know what, I'd rather have
Sure
this.
can.
Okay.
Absolutely, yep. You can do that anytime.
Right.
As long as it's, you follow the Roberts Rules of Order, you can absolutely do that. I would say if review the agenda individually, right, and then email me and say, Ted, hey, can you pull out this item A, whatever it may be, I'll pull it out individually, I'll let the board know that was requested to do that. But besides that, even if it's something happens on a Sunday, right, you can call me and say, hey, Ted, change my mind, I'd like you to pull this out. We can do that anytime, as long as we get to, I can amend that agenda anytime up to the board meeting without a vote, but also if we're here at the board meeting, we would need to go through our typical motions and seconds and vote to do that.
And Rocky, you guys do that Polaris with no,
Yeah, I mean, I think we had one time we pulled something out in my 3 years that I recall. So the treasurer does his part first usually, and then superintendent takes over, does his part, any questions, and then there's a little paragraph you read, and we
That's
take
it.
one vote. You know, question, we all ask questions along the way. It's pretty simple.
Good.
So they're going resolution, Brooklyn Board of Education, 18,000 times. See that in my sleep.
Let's push forward.
I'm done.
Allison?
I'm good.
Okay, I'll talk to Emily, see if I can get it past our first reading, and then if that's the case, I'll put it in my updates, and then we'll plan on March 18th the first time, okay? Thanks.
Is there any other business? Oh, thank goodness. The announcement of the next meeting of the Board of Education is Tuesday, March 4th in the Treasurer's Office Conference Room 9200 Biddulph, Brooklyn, Ohio at 6:15 p.m. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So
Pam,
moved.
second. Questions, comments? Okay. Mr. Shearhart, will call vote, please.
Mr. Neale?
Yes.
Mr. Hasrouni?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbell?
Yes.
Ms. Rafter?
Yes.
Ms. Krall?
Yes.
Thank you. Have a good night.